Hey, welcome back to Stock Talk with Eric Anthony. For today's show, I want to try to keep it as quick as possible. I'm going to get into some news regarding some new board members for Palantir. I want to show you guys some price action in the market, and I want to give you guys some news that came out earlier today with regard to how President Biden wants to boost the increase in metal production here domestically. You know what? Instead of talking, let's just get straight to that. President Joe Biden plans Thursday to invoke Cold War powers to encourage domestic production of critical minerals for electric vehicle and other types of batteries. The White House is poised to add battery materials to the list of items covered by the 1950 Defense Production Act, the same authority wielded by Harry Truman to make steel for the Korean War and Donald Trump to spur mass production to tackle the coronavirus pandemic. Shares of MP Materials Corp., also known as MP, the sole U.S. company that produces rare earth metals needed for electric vehicles, rose 4.7% on Wednesday. Lithium Americas Corp., which runs a project in Nevada, headed for its biggest gain in more than 11 weeks, while Piedmont Lithium, PLL, which runs a project in North Carolina, erased losses, rising as much as 8.7%. And one of our favorites, Abml, was also up, as you can see here. Adding minerals like lithium, nickel, graphite, cobalt, and manganese to the list could help mining companies access $750 million under the Defense Production Act's Title III fund. The move also could aid recycling of battery materials. Instead of loans or direct purchases for minerals, the directive would fund production at current operations, productivity and safety upgrades, and feasibility studies. In addition to EV batteries, the directive also would apply to large capacity batteries. Administration officials are working to ensure production will occur under strong environmental and labor standards. Amid concerns from critics, including some Democratic members of Congress, aides are taking steps to make sure the presidential actions work skirt environmental reviews or permit regulations. Several departments, including Energy and Interior, will oversee the effort. The directive also would pave the way for Congress to allocate more resources to the effort. Our reliance on lithium specifically is about 95% of that is coming from China. A bipartisan group of U.S. Senators, Democrat Joe Manchin of West Virginia and Republicans Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, James Risch of Idaho, and Bill Cassidy of Louisiana. And I'm sorry if I mispronounced James' last name. Speaking of apologies, I do want to apologize. In my last video, I went over my Mount Fang, and I completely forgot to include Amazon in that category. So again, Mount Fang, complete side note, but Mount Fang is Microsoft, Tesla, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. These group of U.S. senators wrote the Biden administration earlier this month, urging the president to invoke the DPA to accelerate production of battery materials. The Intercept reported last week that the Biden administration was drafting an executive order invoking the DPA aimed at increasing the supply of minerals for EV batteries. Biden's directive will come in the form of a so-called presidential determination, according to the people familiar with the matter. And you can check out this graph right here that just basically reiterates how much of a net importer we are on some of these metals. The Biden administration already has allocated vast amounts, including $6 billion as part of the infrastructure bill aimed to developing a U.S. battery supply chain and weaning the auto industry off its reliance on China, the leading producer of lithium-ion cells. Energy independence advocates have also pushed the administration to focus further upstream on mining and on minerals processing, a key step in the EV sector that's also largely dominated by China. Prices of battery minerals like nickel, lithium, and cobalt have surged this year in the face of swelling global EV demand, supply chain disruptions, and Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which sent nickel prices soaring. The price swings are helping drive inflation while underscoring the U.S. industry's vulnerability as it transitions to clean energy. This direct injection of funding should be signed as soon as tomorrow. So we'll look out for that. But again, I just want to give you that little update that might be for all my ABML longs out there. I'm sure you may have seen some green today. It got to as high as around $1.45. I know around maybe 11, things kind of turned to the negative, but with regard to some of our big retail and specifically Abml. It seemed to just kind of wither a little bit regarding some of those gains, but stayed green nonetheless. So shout out to all my Abml longs out there. Super excited to see what else will come of it, specifically for price action. A quick Palantir update regarding their board of advisors. Palantir Technology is a software and data integration firm that specializes in defense, intelligence, and homeland security matters, has named several prominent former defense officials to its first Federal Advisory Board. Former Air Force Secretary Deborah Lee James and former U.S. Special Operations Commander-in-Chief retired William McRaven are among the defense leaders named to the Palantir Federal Advisory Board to offer their perspectives to company officials. Former Acting Deputy Secretary of Defense Christine Fox, former U.S. Africa Command Head Retired General Carter Ham, and former Coast Guard Commandant Retired Vice Ad Peter Neffinger also previously headed the Transportation Secretary Administration, are also on the board. Okay, and I know I messed up the names a couple times as I've been reading it with here, but just so you know, ADM means Admiral. Every day I'm learning something new, and I just thought you guys should know as well. We invited these national security leaders to join our first government advisory board because of the exceptional contributions they have made to this country in the years of public service, as well as their expertise and unwavering integrity they have brought to addressing the most significant national security challenges we collectively face. Palantir Senior Vice President Wendy Anderson, herself a former DoD official, said in a Tuesday interview, the board's members will help the company better understand how the military services and the Defense Department work. The board members who are paid also understand the nation's defense needs are changing and the rapidly evolving pace of technology is driving that change. They will also assist Palantir in thinking strategically about its goals in the federal market and help find business opportunities in the armed services that might be right for its technology. You know, maybe back in Q3 when those numbers came out, one of their biggest criticisms was that they were too heavily reliant on government contracts. Then, and that they wanted to shift more to commercial. Then the Q4 numbers came out, and one of their biggest criticisms was that there was not enough reliance on government contracts and that they weren't, pushing the envelope with getting more and more. And if you guys remember, Auntie Kathy over at ARC also just dumped everything. One of their main criticisms, which I know there's a list, but one of the main ones had to do with their lack of growth with regard to government contracts. So, to hear that all these new former government heads of different departments are all now going to be on the advisory board, and now that we're going to see just more and more different aspects of our government utilize Palantir's technology, nothing but good news as a Palantir long. So I just want to bring that to your guys' attention. As always, I'll put the link below so you guys can have that. As I was recording this, there's an article that just came out on Seeking Alpha 2 that is predicting that Palantir will 3x by 2025. Me specifically, I don't ever try to guess what's going to happen, but if any of you guys want to get read more about the case that they build on Seeking Alpha, because Seeking Alpha, you can have the bear case some days and you can have your bull case. This article was definitely a bull case on Palantir. Like I said, they foresee it 3xing by 2025. So if you want to see the argument that they present, I will put the link below to that article as well. Like always, do your own DD. Never go into any type of play blind. Never go into a play solely off of what you hear here on YouTube. My goal is to always try to give you guys news, even sometimes verbatim, so that you can hear what caught my attention and see if it can help you make some of your decisions in the future. So anyway, just want to give you guys that little tidbit on Palantir. Let's hop into the market. So hopping into our big retail space, as you can see, not too much of a crazy day. Like I told you, the market started really high and then kind of dropped as we ended the trading session today. Ulta was down, Target was down, but Walmart actually was up a little bit. And again, none of these numbers are crazy, all within the 1% threshold. But one thing I want you guys to keep in mind, and if you guys have been following this page since we started it, one of my favorite companies, as crazy as it sounds, is Dollar Tree. And Dollar Tree personally is getting to the point, my cousin had told me, my cousin got this book from a garage sale that his son bought him regarding trading. One of the things that jumped out to him was with regard to stock price. If you're ever holding shares in a company and the price is too high for what you would buy, then that might be a good time to exit that position, specifically if you're holding on as a trader and not an investor. I don't think there's anything wrong whether you invest, if you consider yourself a long-term investor, or as a trader, but I think it matters a lot that you know and understand your identity when it comes to the market. Because if you believe that you're a long-term investor, then again, a lot of price action that we hear throughout the days, weeks, months shouldn't really even faze you. But if you're a trader and you know that you're going to exit a position, these are the type of like little tidbits that I like to hold on to. So Dollar Tree is around $98 and now it's at $160. I solely bought into it as just as a little hedge to some of the little rumbles out there regarding our economy at the time. And then when I heard that they were going to do some of the new things, such as increase their prices to $1.25, and they're going to get their $3 club and their $5 club, I thought, oh, you know what, that might be a cool little play to do. So let me know in the comments below if any of you guys have been following Dollar Tree and if you guys think that Dollar Tree has more room to grow, or if you feel that's a good time to exit. Let's hop into some of our EV plays. Abml up about 11% at the time of this recording. RCAT up just under 1%. Alpp down just under 7%. And I want to stop it right there. For all my Alpp longs, I know we heard some news yesterday that the company had filed NT 10K, and back in the shareholder meeting, we were told that we're going to get the numbers this week, but it looks like we're going to have a little bit of a delay there. Personally, not really sweating it at all. I don't expect these numbers to be good, just as Kent had mentioned in the meeting. So to know that they've been delayed, one of the main reasons that they can be delayed is due to acquisitions. And if you guys remember, and if you don't, you can go to the last video, go into exactly what companies were acquired. But they did acquire 6 companies, so I'm wondering if that had to do with it. I for sure am just parking some money and waiting for those numbers to come out so that I can take full advantage of what I believe will be a sale. Be careful out there. You get something like that, and out of the woodworks, you're just gonna get a bunch of bears, and everyone's just gonna tell you that the company's down, and you'll get people comparing one company to the other. Don't pay any attention to that. Just keep your eye on the prize, and always remember, the stock is not the business. Okay, hopping into our fintech. Fintech was down across the board, with Robinhood down just under 9%. And if you guys remember, Robinhood will be extending its trading hours. I wonder if they're going to be trying to push towards a 24-hour clock, very similar to crypto. Let me know in the comments below if any of you guys have been jumping into Robinhood. Genomics all down, as you can see. But look at which one wasn't down. That's right, BNGO. Again, it was almost up about 4%. And at the peak of trading today, it was up, it even passed like $2.80, which was actually kind of cool to see. Anyway, like I've always tell you, I love following sectors. And if I can see one of my favorite companies within that sector being able to withstand the overall direction of the market, and if it's still green where everything is red, I wonder what's happening out there. If you guys have any insight on why you guys think the price action has been moving the way it has for BNGO, let me know. We got Desktop Metal and we have Nano Dimensions. They were actually both down today. Some of our favorite longs, we have Chipotle, Dutch Brothers, and Palantir, and they're all down around 1% to 2%. Nothing crazy there. Jumping into Mount Fang, including Amazon. As you can see, everything also just down across the board, but nothing too crazy. Just maybe the largest loss was about around 1% with regard to these companies. So anyway, just want to let you know, I don't know if you can hear my kid, he just woke up, so I gotta go. Like always, thank you so much for checking in with Stock Talk with Erik Anthony, and I'll see you mañana.